Manipulation, a subtle art as ancient as human interaction, weaves its intricate threads through the fabric of society, shaping relationships and dynamics in ways both overt and hidden. From history's earliest tales of deceit to the complex psychological tactics of the modern world, manipulation has always been a tool wielded for power. At its heart, it thrives on exploiting vulnerabilities, cloaked in false intentions of care, and traps its victims in a delicate web of dependency. Yet, beneath this facade of control lies a fragile construct destined to unravel under the weight of truth and resilience. This exploration delves into the nature of manipulation, its beginnings, and its inevitable consequences, offering insights into breaking free and reclaiming the strength to rise above. Fundamentally, manipulation is a subtle game of power, often disguised as compassion or care. This intricate web, crafted with precision, entices individuals into a cycle of reliance and compliance. Those who weave it rely on exploiting vulnerabilities as entry points to gain control and mold the narrative. This website was not built overnight. It starts with small actions that initially appear to have no significance. An offhand remark that sows doubt, a deliberate flattery that instills a desire for their approval, or a moment of feigned weakness can ensnare you without realizing it. These threads tighten to form an impossible-to-free trap. To manipulators, control is a source of strength, the illusion of strength. They perceive their ability to coordinate other behaviors and emotions as a demonstration of their authority. Still, this strength is a miracle. Their web is brittle, as it is built on dishonesty and terror rather than truth or authenticity. It can be towering for a period, much as a house of cards, but falls the instant the basis is tested. Clearly, the Bible in its eternal wisdom talks of this pattern. They sow the seed and gather the wind. Hosea 87 captures the destiny of people who use dishonesty to try to dominate others. Although it ultimately leads to ruin, manipulation may yield fleeting successes. No matter how carefully crafted their plans are, their own dishonesty cannot support them. The whirlwind of repercussions separates them from their carefully constructed network. An agenda drives manipulation from its very inception. Rarely does the manipulator attempt to cultivate a relationship or create something significant. Rather, it's about leverage, learning to access your emotions, decisions, and even your sense of self-value. Even though they may present themselves as kind, encouraging, or in need of assistance, their underlying motivation is a constant quest for control. They will utilize your deepest fears as instruments to draw you closer to their desires, thereby exploiting your most vulnerable aspects. They are aware of your vulnerable areas, those in your heart yearning for love, validation, or approval, and they perform them instrumentally. The more you respond, the more deeply you find yourself entwined. The masks they don. Manipulators hardly ever show their actual goals. They don masks, meticulously created personas meant to disarm and perplex you. They could show up as a mentor, a lover, or a confidant. You will receive compliments when it suits them, but when their needs change, they will withdraw it. This hot and cold dynamic makes you off balance and causes self-doubt and increased reliance on them. Their strategy includes these masks. They maintain control by leaving you in a state of constant uncertainty. They thrive on ambiguity, which is why you never fully comprehend their motivations or actions. Every action they do is deliberate, every phrase picked to keep their edge. Starting to show are the cracks. Still, every network of manipulation has shortcomings. The gaps start to show with time. Often, manipulators undervalue the power of their victims. They neglect to understand that one can untangle even the most densely spun web. The exact strategies they employ to subjugate others, dishonesty, manipulation, exploitation, became their undoing. No matter how far buried they are, lies find their way back to us. Every deliberate action traces itself, and the power of the manipulator starts to weaken when the truth surfaces. Once unbreakable starts to fall apart. Once perfect, their control wrenches under the weight of their own plans. The liberated moment. Though it is difficult, breaking free from control is doable. It starts with awareness, recognizing trends, and knowing your opponent's strategies. You may start to separate yourself from the web once you see it for what it is. It requires bravery, fortitude, and the belief that you are worth more than pawn value. You recover your power as you leave the internet. Despite initially appearing formidable, the manipulator reveals their true nature. They fear losing their grip and crave dominance. Once frightening, their acts have little effect on you. Justice comes first. The beauty of divine justice is that it is unquestionably inevitable. Though they cannot outpace the natural flow of cause and effect, manipulators sometimes feel they can avoid the results of their activities. Often, their dishonesty, selfishness, and manipulation haunt them in unexpected ways. They plant seeds of damage, then harvest the swirl of their decisions. For those who have experienced manipulation, this justice serves as a reminder of our inherent strength and resilience. It's evidence that you can overcome whatever degree of damage or control you have undergone. Your reaction to the manipulator defines you, not your deeds. Manipulation is a game where there are no winners. Although players may experience temporary success, the truth always prevails. Be aware that if you find yourself entangled in someone else's web, you have the power to free yourself. You are able to release yourself and take back your life. I appreciate you seeing. If this message spoke to you, leave a comment with the number 739, like the video, or follow our channel for more inspiring material. Come explore with us in the next section, how to create a life of authenticity and fortitude. Knowing your web is the key to emancipation, not the absence of obstacles. Often hidden, subtle, and relentless, manipulation threads across your heart, head, and emotions. Little gestures, seemingly benign at first, become the foundation of control. The first step toward breaking free is realizing these strategies. Manipulators use your weaknesses to thrive on your doubts and anxieties. They create a story that sometimes makes you doubt your value, decisions, and even your purpose in order to guarantee their control stays strong. However, the reality is this: their strength is an illusion, a brittle construct that falls apart the instant you start to see it. Their greatest concern is your waking, as it signifies the end of their rule. Every act of manipulation transcends mere setback. It tests. This presents an opportunity for growth, a crucible where your character and objectives take shape. You are powerful because they cause suffering, raise questions, and increase fears. They see what you cannot, so they target you. However, they target your potential, your light, and your divine mission. If you were insignificant, would they waste so much energy trying to minimize you? Surely not. Their perseverance shows your power, which they crave but cannot control. The secret is to realize you were never supposed to be anyone's pawn. You were created to reflect God's glory, love, and purpose, not others' egos. There are challenges on the road to release. Dealing with the lies calls for bravery, the fortitude to destroy the stories, and faith, which will help one enter the future. Still, this process helps you realize the strength of your resistance. Every time you resist their control, you regain a part of yourself. Every time you choose truth before dishonesty, you align more precisely with the divine design assigned to you. Your jail was never meant to be the web they created. You have your proving ground here. The labyrinth they created to confuse and subjugate you simply strengthened your senses. The chains they attempted to bind you have only bolstered your desire for freedom. Therefore, you claim freedom instead of receiving it. Rising from the shadows into the light is a deliberate choice. God has been with you at every stage, arranging events to lead to release. He was laying your road to freedom while they labored relentlessly to restrict you. No matter how well thought out their schemes are, they cannot align with His intentions. Seeing, knowing, and timing everything, the Creator gives justice. You might feel strange lightness when you distance yourself from their reach. This is their absence, the dissolution of a connection that was once deeply burdening your soul. You will discover not only release from their influence, but also a tremendous clarity about your goal. You were created for something more, for excellence, for delight. We strive to live a life that encompasses the entirety of God's magnificence. Breaking free is more than just getting away from their impact. It's about embracing your fate, recognizing that what others say doesn't define you. You're not valued by their approval, nor are you motivated by it. Your selection and uniqueness surpass the limits of their plans. When you finally break free from their hold, things will change. Once you define your interactions, the power dynamics will disappear. Once dominant, their remarks will get flat. Their attempts to exert control will not succeed. Anchored in the truth of your identity and design, you will find strength. Their loss of control is not your weight to carry. Their awareness of what they have lost and their regret are unique to them. You must maintain your focus on the path that awaits you. There are many chances, blessings, and developments ahead in life. You lead a life that is firmly aligned with God's plan and remains free from their sway. You possess power, not just freedom. Rather than attempting to break you, the events have instead shaped you. Their lies just make the truth more valuable. The suffering they brought about has sharpened your capacity for pleasure. The strength you've discovered will empower you to confidently embark on the life you've always deserved. Thus, let this incident mark your turning point. Let this be the season when you completely enter your God-given mission and reject the delusion of their control. They may be behind the scenes, but they have no say in your story. Your moment to shine is here. Your time to ascend. This is your opportunity to embrace the life that has always been yours. Tell us in the comments whether you have found resonance in this message. Leave the number 317 if you feel motivated to recover control and enter your purpose. Remember to enjoy this video and sign up for our channel to obtain further ideas and support. Stay tuned for the next chapter, where we will discuss how to create a life that really reflects your divine calling. The consequences of deceit manipulation is a dangerous game. Those who rely on deceit, control, and exploitation to accomplish their goals frequently fall into the same traps they set for others. Once meant to show control, their deliberate acts gradually expose the frailty of their plans. Every falsehood they tell and every trust they abuse becomes a thread in a web that ultimately leads to the manipulator's backtracking. The effects of deceit are not immediate. They sweep across time, influencing every facet of the life of the manipulator. They could first seem to flourish under the illusion of power and control. They may even persuade themselves that their plans are perfect and their cunning unparalleled. But dishonesty is always ticking, just as a time bomb is. For those caught in the cycle of deception, the realization of their collapse typically begins with subtle signs. Relationships disintegrate, trust erodes, and the facade they diligently cultivated starts to crumble. Manipulators neglect to realize that sincerity is the cornerstone of real relationships. Deceit supplants this foundation, making it incapable of withstanding the inevitable challenges of life. Truth has a way of revealing itself, as what is hidden is intended to be revealed, and what is concealed is intended to be exposed. Their lies may go unseen for some time. Mark 4 verse 22 states that the consequences become evident when the inconsistencies in their false reality become too significant to ignore. Friends withdraw, colleagues lose trust, and loved ones uncover the hidden treachery. The manipulators must navigate a challenging reality. Their behavior has isolated them. The individuals they used to rule are no more sources of strength or validation. Despite its fleeting nature and resulting in only regret, manipulation creates a false sense of strength, trapping individuals in a cycle of loss and preventing them from escaping the consequences of their choices. One of the biggest ironies manipulators deal with is that their plans usually backfire quite brilliantly. They turn fear and mental abuse into weapons, the same tools they once used to subjugate others. A manipulator who spreads lies to get influence, for example, may discover their reputation permanently tarnished later. Once those lies come to light, the anxiety they caused in others becomes their own as they try to keep the facade they created intact. Moreover, manipulators sometimes undervalue the fortitude and tenacity of people they aim at. They cannot stifle the natural human drive for freedom and truth, even if they could succeed in momentarily creating doubt or anxiety. The individual they aim to subjugate starts to see the trends, object to the manipulation, and finally rebel. Those who transcend manipulation will find numerous benefits. The tranquility that follows from releasing yourself is unparalleled. The manipulator loses the energy, but recovers it to make space for growth, healing, and new opportunities. Released from the web of lies, they regain their power and direction. Conversely, the manipulator finds themselves ensnared in the vicious cycle they created. Unable to take responsibility, they sometimes intensify their actions, therefore extending their own agony. The relationships they wrecked and the chances they missed haunt them still. Every cue of their past acts as a terrible echo of their decisions. With time, their regret deepens. They might try to restore their facade, but it's useless if they ignore the underlying causes of their behaviors. They overlook the fact that real change, atonement, and truth are the only ways ahead. Ideas requiring the humility they lack. This developing tragedy serves as a powerful reminder for all of us. Though they could provide temporary benefits, manipulation and dishonesty cannot sustain long-term fulfillment. Real power comes from genuineness, ethics, and creating close relationships. Manipulators have nothing except the results of their deeds until it is too late, so they miss this truth. Their collapse offers a sobering lesson on the harmony of karma and justice. As their carefully crafted stories unravel, the manipulator confronts the undeniable truth. Their damage to others finally comes back around to them. Their life begins to mirror the turmoil they intended to inflict on others. However, those who have triumphed embark on a fresh path, while manipulators remain trapped in this cycle of guilt. This path leads to freedom, tranquility, and guidance. Reaching free from control is a metamorphosis rather than only a getaway. It's a journey to reclaim one's power, reclaim one's value, and step into the life that always awaits. Manipulation can bring temporary control, as we have discussed today, but its long-term effects are unavoidable. Those who live by dishonesty finally find their plans falling apart. Those who rise above gain fresh vigor and clarity. Manipulation is a fleeting game with no true winners. It may create the illusion of power and control, but this facade is destined to crumble under the weight of its own deceit. Those who weave webs of lies often find themselves ensnared by their own tactics, isolated and burdened by the consequences of their actions. Yet, for those who break free, there is a profound transformation. A journey of reclaiming power, rediscovering worth, and stepping boldly into a life of truth and authenticity. Freedom from manipulation is not merely an escape. It is a declaration of strength and resilience. It is proof that no matter how tightly the threads of control were spun, they can be unraveled. Justice, both divine and natural, ensures that truth prevails, offering liberation to the oppressed and accountability to the oppressor. Let this serve as a reminder. Your life is not defined by someone else's schemes, but by your courage to rise above them. Step forward into the light of your purpose, knowing you are stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the fullness of the life you were always meant to live. Lord Almighty, you are the source of all wisdom and truth. Grant me discernment to recognize manipulation when it cloaks itself in kindness or concern. Shield my heart and mind from the snares of deceit, and guide my steps to walk in your truth. Protect me, Lord, from those who seek to exploit my vulnerabilities, and strengthen my resolve to stand firm in your light. Amen.